You're listening to the Fanboy Garage Podcast.
And welcome to the Fanboy Garage. I'm Chris Lasanti, joined by my co-hosts Vanessa.
Hi, guys.
And Aaron Barola.
Yo, what's up, folks? Coming at you at episode 120 of the Fanboy Garage. You can see our faces yet again. I hope you have not been turned off by that. But anyways, and for those that are just listening, well, welcome back. It's just an ordinary show for you, but we are running this thing off of YouTube, and we're very happy to have you guys here for another week. We're going to get started right away with stuff that I love to talk about. Star Wars, The Mandalorian, right? Sure. Episode 2. I've heard a lot of things. Actually, I heard from a couple of people that they were like, oh, this is a departure episode. It's boring. It doesn't keep us on the path with finding the child's rightful owners. And I call BS.
Right. Well, I mean, in full disclosure, awesome. I watched the episode, but I was somewhat distracted when I was watching it. So it did not have my full attention. I'm going to have to rewatch it at some point, probably during the week, just to kind of fully grab it. So I don't really have a lot of deep thoughts on it this week. So yeah. I mean, and maybe what you just said is part of the reason. I don't know.
No,
it wasn't anything that
I think anyone that says that is just utterly foolish.
Got it. All right.
No, so I thought it was.
Yeah, I mean, it was well it was that.
Yeah. So, anyways, we find Mando kind of picking right up on Tatooine, kind of getting back to his ship, and then automatically he gets ambushed by other bounty hunters who want the child, and obviously he will go to incredible lengths to protect the child. So he gives up his jetpack. And then the creature that grabs his jetpack just basically gets shot up into the air and then dropped from who knows how many miles up in the air. But the Mando calls the jetpack back to him, and I thought that was pretty dope. But then they send him on it's kind of like a Lord of the Rings type thing where he's getting attacked by spiders and he meets rebels or the New Republic, and I thought it was a great episode. I mean, I think for me, while it's like a monster of the week or an adventure of the week, so to speak, every little bit is like marching him on this journey, right? And they have to otherwise it gets kind of boring, because you don't want it to be like, he goes from point A to point B and then ta-da, here you go, kiddo, like here go the Jedi or whatever. You got to add a little flavor to it. You got to put some adventures there. So I had fun with it. I thought
not only that, but you're going to have these types of episodes, right, in the course of a season, and I actually prefer to have it in episode 2 as opposed to like episode 6.
Or
where you get like right or 5, you get like you get this type of an episode in the middle of like when things start to really heat up. Like we're still kind of developing the story and establishing where this season is going. So coming off of episode 1, which had a lot to it, right? I don't mind having an episode like this early on, because you're going to get it eventually.
Yeah.
And it was about this, from a timing perspective, we talked about last week's where episode 1 was the longest episode so far in the history of the show. This week, sort of back to where they were, right? It's like 42 minutes with a couple minute recap and all that. So kind of back to where, right back to where they were in season 1. So we'll see how that progresses as far as timing and everything.
I think I can understand where some people are coming from, and like, okay, the episode kind of just stays within itself, it kind of opens and closes. We have a clear like beginning and end to the episode. We know, that battle is over. But I think what's lovely about it is it starts to open you up to different worlds, and it's kind of like part of the world building. We get to zoom in on some of the places that we might not get to see if they had just followed a traditional, like, here's the hero, he has to return the child, this is his trajectory, point A, B, C, D, E. But instead we kind of take these pit stops and we get to see what else are on these planets. I didn't know those like spidery things existed. You know, and it's just so cool, the concept, like the people that had time to create those creatures and make them come to life. I hate spiders, so I hated that part of the episode. I was freaking out and I was screaming at the television like, oh my God, oh no. Like, but it was really exciting because it got me really into the action. And it just, I think it just gives you like a little zoom into what the world is. And then like he gets back on, you know, so we get to see a lot more of the world, which is exciting and maybe you don't get to see much of before.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, I mean, there is a reason for, you know, sort of all of the things that happened in that episode. So there were a couple of key takeaways. And by the way, like, loved some of the cameos, like Dave Filoni popping up as a rebel pilot again was awesome. But the fact that they know of him, right? And he's actually done some good, which is giving him some license to, you know, carry on with his mission. And they didn't shoot, you know, they obviously didn't shoot him down, but and it's dope to see X-wings, you know, in this era and kind of flying along, and that's so traditionally Star Wars. And it was good to see that the spiders, you know, you're talking about the design of those spiders, which is really, here's some interesting stuff. So like Ralph McQuarrie, who is basically the visual architecture of everything related to Star Wars, kind of designed, you know, the original look of Darth Vader and stormtroopers and a lot of the way that the world looks. He designed that spider many years ago, and it was part of his concept for Star Wars. And obviously a lot of stuff didn't get used, but they are bringing it into the fold, and I love that
so
stuff.
cool.
You know? We've seen parts of that pop up in the sequel trilogy, you know, designs for buildings and stuff like that he's done, and that's being, you know, revisited and kind of like recreated and reimagined, and I love that stuff. But you know, for me, it is just the interactions that Mando is having with other, you know, factions in the universe. I love the fact that we're getting to see other planets that have all of these other creatures, like a gecko-like creature that eats with its tongue that reminds me of Jar Jar Binks, is hilarious. And Baby Yoda is like a total representation of my son, like putting shit in his mouth that he's not supposed to. Like you tell him no, and he's like, I'm gonna try it again while you're looking right at me. He does it to me all the time with a crayon. So of course I got him a little plush Baby Yoda that he like absolutely adores. Like he grabs me, like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much you, kid.
That was so like, cute. Him eating like
he's like
all
eating
those
the
eggs,
eggs,
just like being so fascinated by it. I was like, at first, like you almost think like, oh, maybe he's gonna perform, you know, some type of like magic and like make them hatch on their own or like something like that. No, he just wanted to put it in his mouth like a baby.
And he used the Force to pull him closer to him, which was like a lot of people missed that because like they thought, oh, the spawn like gravitated to him. You can hear the like of the Force, and he's pulling them to him so he can take a closer look and of course put them in his mouth. But yeah, no, I thought it was a like, to me, nothing in Star Wars, and well, I don't say nothing because that's a total lie, because episode 9, that's a throwaway. Nothing in this show is a throwaway to me, because it just continues to enrich, as we talked last episode, continues to enrich the universe, offering different species, different aliens, different interactions, all of that. And I just love the world building that's happening in the show. And look, am I 100% invested in the journey of the child to get to Jedi? Yeah, I know we're gonna get there. Like, it's not gonna happen in episode 2. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have to have these like stop and go kind of moments. Otherwise, we're all gonna be like, okay, that's it. It's over. I'd like the world
Mhm.
building because it's giving me something more and stuff that we've never seen before in Star Wars, and that's what I've always craved for.
And there's a difference between like throwaway and something that's more standalone. Like
Right.
throwaway is like we had nothing. We have too many. You tend to see that more in like broadcast shows where they have like 23 episode seasons.
Yeah.
There's just no way to tell that much story. So you get like a handful or sometimes even more of these like throwaway episodes, or it's just like whatever. In Star Trek, they called them ship in a bottle episodes. And they weren't necessarily throwaway episodes, but they were episodes that were for budgetary reasons or just for the length of the series. They were these like episodes that were self-contained and they didn't really do much to advance anything. They just kind of told a simple story. That's not this. I mean, this is still very much the establishment of a world, right? Of a universe. And there's nothing to say that, and I actually think it will, that what happened in this episode, that may play off on something deeper later on, or at least introduce you to something that you might experience again later on. So I don't think any of it is throwaway. I just think that there are going to be some episodes that advance the story a little bit more than others, or have maybe a little bit more action, or involve, eventually whoever whatever the main villain, the main story arc is going to be for this season. And then you'll have episodes like this that tell a story, but focus more on showing you more characters and kind of advancing the universe aspect of it, as opposed to advancing the actual narrative of the season, which we're still learning about.
Well, I mean, what it also did is it essentially takes his means to travel away from him, right? Because now the Razor Crest is damaged. So how else is he going to seek other Mandalorians out, get the child to Jedi, right? This is why we're gonna end up seeing him on a boat at some point, because he doesn't have the ship anymore.
Right.
The ship is completely damaged, right? So
That's
so
a
there
good
were all
point.
of those things, that are gonna play out, and I think people need to like just pump the brakes a little bit, because there are, obviously there are steps to the end game, which wherever we're gonna go with this show, and so we just need to be patient. You can't judge it. Oh, this is a throwaway episode. How do you know? We haven't even gotten to the next.
That's a really good
we haven't
point.
got to the next one.
That's a really good point, because the after you watch it, you feel like nothing like important really happened. But now that we're talking about it, I think we did get a lot of important information, that was just like small bits of information, but they're helping to set up the rest of the season, like him, what happens to his ship, like that's a very crucial plot point, and how he's going to get out of it, what he's going to do after.
And he has to see now he has to see through the next bit of his mission, right, which is to get this Gecko character to her husband,
right?
So she can have her spawn,
So
whatever.
cute.
But all of that is a means to an end, right? He needs to do that because she has information that he needs, so he's going to do this. And these little side missions are like his bounties. That's what they are, and they give him a little bit of information to help him on his quest moving forward. That's what it is. That's like any gunslinger film, Ronin film. It's like The Traveler. It's like Kung Fu. It's like The Incredible Hulk, where someone goes on their journey and they meet somebody and they're like, okay, well, I'm still on my path, but I will stop and help. And holy shit, my eyes are turning green. I'm busting out of my shirt. I don't know how I'm keeping up with all the clothes that I'm ripping through. Here we go. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what this show is. And I'm cool with it. I'm good with it.
Yeah. And even the show, like, I mean, the Incredible Hulk series was inspired by The Fugitive, obviously.
Right. Yeah.
Which was a series of standalone episodes where, Richard Kimball would wind up in wherever, and then there would be a story there in that town.
Yep.
But there was this large overarching storyline in The Fugitive, obviously, of him trying to find the one-armed man and Gerard trying to capture him and all of that. The Incredible Hulk didn't really have that as much, except for like the McGee thing, where he was constantly trying to find
right.
But for the most part, that was really like, and him trying to find like cures and stuff like that every once in a while. But that was more standalone. This is taking nods to those types of shows, but it's also telling a bigger story. So it's what I actually love about the show. I'm at the point now where like shows that are overly dense start to be a drag for me.
Yeah.
And I want something that's entertaining. I want something I don't need every episode to be standalone, but I do like the fact that each episode in The Mandalorian kind of has a feel to it, and you can, in some cases, the episodes have a beginning, middle, and end, but there is this overarching story, and I also think people need to, I think it's very easy to get seduced by like the last couple of episodes of season 1.
Yep.
And to like think you're automatically going to pick up right from there.
Right.
Yep. And that's not what happened here, actually. In the sense of like, episode 1 left off at a certain point with a certain tease that hasn't paid off yet.
Mm-hmm.
And it will, obviously, but I think people just expected like, oh, we're just going to go all out now, but that's not realistic. And it's not how season 1 was like formatted.
Right.
And it's not how season 2 is going to be formatted. Clearly, this is a show that is going to build up to a big finale for each season.
Yep.
You would think, right? And so you're going to have, some, good episodes early on. Then you're going to have, your episodes that advance the story. And then you're going to have your episodes at the end that just bring it all together and hopefully tease whatever it's going to be for the next season.
Right.
So I wouldn't get, I think the people that are saying, oh, it's a throwaway, it's this and that, I think they just,
Phil.
I think they're just, they got sucked in by those last few episodes of season 1 and maybe forgot what some of the episodes were like in the middle.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It's like, people might just be used to these like let's like punch them with every episode, punch. So like people can like talk about it, people can tweet about it and like make a thing about it. But this show is really smart. And the producers and everyone behind it, are really smart in how they tell stories. And that's what I love about this show is like when you sit down and watch it, you feel taken care of. You don't feel like this is like, oh yeah, I know what the audience wants, so I'm going to give them like action. I'm going to give them this, like you sit down and you can appreciate so many aspects of it. Like if you're a prop person, you can appreciate the props and that attention to detail. If you're like a creature person, animatronics and all that kind of stuff, you can appreciate that element. The lighting is beautiful in this show. No one talks about really the lighting, but if you're a lighting person, it's just, there's so many different artistic aspects of the show that when you sit down and watch it, you just feel like you're taken care of. And it's so subtle, but so much work goes into it, so I think it's really special in that aspect.
Yeah. And we would be remiss to not mention that this was Peyton Reed's episode that he directed. So Peyton Reed, who directed Ant-Man and the Wasp and Ant-Man, and interestingly enough, one of the characters is playing sabacc against a giant ant, which was pretty funny. But I thought who does insects better than Peyton Reed, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was a good episode.
And Peyton Reed was a big tease, right? Remember they showed like
that's right.
Share with on Instagram or whatever. I'm sure other social media for when they were teasing things for season 2. So there you go.
Yeah. So dope.
All right. Well, we'll see. I think the next episode is directed by Carl Weathers.
Oh, really? I didn't know he was having a. Oh, that's gonna be cool. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
He's probably gonna be in. He's probably gonna be in the episode.
I think that's the next episode. 12 or maybe the one following. This was 11, right?
Oh, this is 10. This
was 10. Okay, so I think he's directing episode 12.
Cool.
Very 11 or 12. So either the next one or the one after. So
the next one is they haven't announced the director yet. Then Carl Weathers is directing episode 12 and Dave Filoni episode 13. And then the rest is still to be announced. So
see how that goes.
Yeah, but it's interesting that Jon Favreau, he wrote episode 1, 2, 3, 4. Dave Filoni wrote and directed episode 5, and then Jon Favreau wrote episode 6. Rick Famuyiwa wrote episode 7, and Jon Favreau wrote episode 8. So a lot of Favreau. Yeah. And I guess it's interesting they haven't announced I guess they just don't know who, because clearly they know who directed
Yeah,
those
they're
finished.
saving that.
Yeah.
I swear to God, at this point, I'll throw rose petals at Jon Favreau's feet.
So
I
talented.
swear he's so good. I've always liked Jon Favreau.
Yeah.
But I really like him now.
Well, there's
and
a
it's not
difference
just
between
about
you-
Star Wars. It's I
know.
He's
would
good at
I would
everything he does.
I want to hang out with him. Like I would love to
Yeah.
bake bread with him because he's got this like sourdough thing down and like I just love the passion he puts into the shit that he does.
So you want to
his-
make sourdough bread with Jon Favreau?
Yeah, I want to make sourdough bread with Jon Favreau. You haven't watched Chef, right? On Netflix?
It's good.
No.
You need to watch.
I'm sure
I think it's the last episode of the second season. I don't even know how they break it up, but it's like the one that he does with Sam Raimi, and he talks about his love of making sourdough bread. And like, my dude, it looks amazing.
I'm sure
It's
there's things I didn't expect to ever hear on this show. So
I want to bake bread with Jon Favreau.
Yeah, I thought you were going
bake bread with Favreau.
I thought you were gonna say, I love Jon Favreau, but now that he's been so amazing for Star Wars, I love him even more. I didn't think you were going, I love Jon Favreau, and his sourdough bread is where I need to go.
I think no, honestly, like everything that he's touched in my opinion, even acting stuff that he's done, I love him as like Rudy Rudiger's best friend in Rudy. Like love him there. What was that college movie that he did with Jeremy Piven? It's like PU or something. I forgot what it was, like NP. I forgot the name of it, but he plays like this blockheaded, like dreaded guy called Meat or Beef or something like that, and he's hilarious. He's great. He ends up finding like George P Funk, like he gets them to throw this like massive party to save like this frat house. It's awesome.
Never seen that. Never even heard of that.
It's great. Forgot the name of it. It's like MPU or something like that. I used to watch it all the time.
He's so multifaceted, like everything he does, even though cooking and Star Wars, like making bread and Star Wars are like two vastly different things. But he just has so much commitment behind everything he does.
Passion.
And it's like what a true artist, what a true artist. That's the thing that connects both of them.
He loves,
hold on a second before we get at this. The movie's PCU,
all right,
that you were talking
got it.
But what did you say his character's name was?
Was it like Meat? Is it Beef or something like that? What is his name? No,
Gutter.
Sure, Gutter.
You just had meat.
I would never have known that. I thought it was like something. I knew it was a nickname.
You clearly, after the sourdough situation, I
went clearly into like bacon mode.
Absolutely.
You dip that sourdough bread in that bacon grease.
That's it.
No, he is, it's funny because to me, like there are people who love cinema so much and they do such amazing things when they are involved and invested in. Like Peter Jackson is one of those people. Guillermo del Toro is one of those people. James Cameron is one of those people. And then like I would never have thought that Jon Favreau would be one of those people and would be able to make such an impact in such a short period of time. Like the technology that's used, and we talked about this like many moons ago, but the technology that's used to film The Mandalorian is like next level shit. And they've been, they were virtually unscathed because of the way that they create this series during the pandemic. And they're able to like, it looks so good. You're talking about the lighting. Yeah. Well, the reason the lighting looks good is because they have LED screens front and on the top and are able to light all angles so that cameras don't shine off the Mando's face. Everything is reflective. Like they don't have to do much of the I'm sure there's a lot of CGI, obviously, but when it comes to like light reflection and using the Beskar armor to kind of like help create that scene, it's brilliant.
I mean, they're using the technology for the Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of places now, a lot of places, a lot of productions are using this technology, and it's a game engine technology.
I mean,
Game
Favreau's got
changer.
an interesting filmography. His acting filmography is not much, right? There's some
A couples retreat
decisions there, like PCU, for instance. But
awesome.
his as a director, though, I mean, he's got Elf, which is now a classic, right? Considered a Christmas classic.
I'm like this on Elf.
Oh, go.
I know. I'm the worst. I'm the worst.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. Zathura, which is actually an underrated movie.
That movie is dope.
Yes. And then of course Iron Man 2. All right, we'll give him a pass on that one. But
I think Iron Man 2 gets such a bad rap.
But but the point is Iron Man though. It's easy to forget now that Iron Man set the tone. It's the most important film in the MCU because it didn't succeed. There was no MCU, right? And Jon Favreau was the guy who was the original, at least in theory, one of the original architects, right, of the MCU. Before Joss Whedon kind of came in with the Vengeance stuff, but he set the table. I mean, he did Iron Man, which is great, and then Iron Man 2, which was the movie that really kind of got the ball rolling for the whole Avengers concept. He's got some missteps. I mean, Cowboys and Aliens, that didn't work.
I have never seen that movie.
But Chef, a smaller film.
That's a great film.
Great film.
And then The Jungle Book, which made $1 gazillion. Right?
And it's good.
And The Lion King. So, and now, he's now involved in Star Wars and, doing great work with this on the small screen, but it's just as big and just as important. So, for fans of like genre films and like this type of film, right? Big, like, comic book movies or superhero movies or big franchise filmmaking and stuff like that. He's becoming an important fixture, in our time. Because in a lot of the ways that like Spielberg was able to make really good like event films, Favreau has a little bit of that in him. Right, not to the level. He doesn't have the filmography, obviously, that Spielberg has, and he has yet to show the diversity that Spielberg had as far as being able to like handle like epic drama and stuff like that too. I don't want to go crazy and say Jon Favreau, Steven Spielberg, so everyone calm down. But in the sense of like he makes these big spectacle films that usually like critics and people want to dismiss, but he puts such a quality into them that they become these really good movies that also make a ton of money. So
I can't wait to see what else he does.
I was just gonna say he's got a whole career ahead of him,
I know he's like experimenting with like stop motion. He wants to bring stop motion back. Hey dude, you can make your bread, make your stop motion. You do you, because I'm just gonna consume whatever you put in front of me.
Maybe he'll make a sourdough bread stop motion.
There we go. I mean, the chef show on Netflix is it's great because he's not really culinary trained. He had to do certain things obviously for the role, but he works very, very closely with Roy Roy Choi sounds really bad, but Roy, and they're a magic couple together. Like they do amazing stuff, and you can just see like the love and care and like wanting to do it right, even though he's not a chef. He does it right. Like he spends a lot of love and attention in what he's doing. And I think the other beautiful part of that show is that he brings people into other people's homes. Like they go to what's his name? Rodriguez. The director.
Robert
Rodriguez's home, he has a passion for making pizza.
Oh.
And he makes bomb pizza, and they go there and he had the pizza and he's going through his process for making dough from scratch and all this shit.
Brilliant.
And they're like eating pizza. I'm like, damn, I want Robert Rodriguez's pizza too. Like, you open up a chain, bro, open up a food truck. I don't care. I'd be there. I'd eat it.
How's his sourdough bread?
You cut the pizza with a chainsaw.
Like real talk. Like Jon Favreau's sourdough is becoming like world renowned.
Is it?
I think like mad people are like, yo, Jon Favreau's bread is on point.
What are they using his recipe?
No, I think it's the process in which he does the dough. Like it's how
so they're following how he cures it, or not cures it, but like that whole process.
That whole process of like letting the dough,
Interesting.
with all the yeast and all that stuff, because that's pretty much all it is like flour and yeast.
I want to make it now.
Watch that episode.
I gotta watch that episode.
But then it intimidated the shit out of me, because I was like, oh, I can make sourdough. I'll do it. No, because I'm like, I don't have time for that shit to be poking around and looking at dough. Like, oh, that looks right. Let me get a cheesecloth. I don't give a shit about none of that. I'm like, can I just eat the bread? Can someone just make it for me and I'll eat it? Is that cool?
You just want the result.
How about the pizza? Maybe try the pizza. There wasn't pineapple on the pizza.
We did have a little pizza off 2 years ago. 2 years ago for New Year's.
Yeah.
Who had a pizza off? You guys?
No, yeah. So at my house for New Year's, Chris came over. We had a couple of other friends, my sister-in-law, whatever, and we all like made our own individual pizzas, and a whole bunch of toppings, and then we all ate pizza for New Year's. But we were all trying everyone's different slices. Yeah. Like at the end of the day, we all had like 8 slices of pizza, and by the end of that, I was like, oh my god.
Aaron, it's a fantastic idea until you realize how much, like Aaron and I almost passed out. Like when we realized how much pizza we actually ate.
Oh, who won?
Wait, Chris, did you win?
No, it wasn't me, but I don't remember. No.
I don't remember.
What do you guys remember what you put on your pizza?
I don't remember shit. It was New Year's. Come on.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like my kids were asleep. Shit got real.
Yeah. There was no pineapple though.
No, there was no pineapple. There was none of that bullshit.
Yeah. So all right. So obviously there was a lot of news that happened this week having nothing to do with entertainment. There wasn't much that had to do with entertainment this week. But, sticking to our wheelhouse and the things that we talk about and the fun stuff that we talk about, I know you had mentioned something about a Spider-Man suit situation. So I had seen it. So I quickly Googled, because I've been focused on other things. So I Googled Spider-Man 3 suit, and I saw that what I'm assuming was that Instagram picture.
With the mask on.
And then I realized it was like, oh, okay. So
no, I think the key takeaway for me was that he is obviously sticking with the red and black, the red and black suit that we see at the end of Far From Home.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously it's a dope looking suit. It felt more black than, like, there was a little bit more black, it felt like to me. But yeah, it looks good. I'm excited to see Spider-Man come back. I'm so interested to see what the hell is going to happen with this story and how it's all going to work out. Okay, Vanessa's like, yeah, let me take it.
No, I'm looking at it.
Yeah. Oh, there it is, right there.
Yep, there it is. Right. And you're right. It is a little more black, because when you said that, I was like, let me go look at the picture.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then it was interesting. So our friend Matt Vernier, he posted a picture of that, but it was the far right of that picture where you see like a hand in black.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that looked awfully costumey, and I'm like, dude, you're wrong. And it got, he got blown up. Like Twitter was retweeting the crap out of him, and I'm like, off of that little smidge of a picture. God,
what is that?
Do you, man? Everyone's speculating. Oh, whose hand is that?
What are we thinking? What is the speculation?
I have no idea.
It could be someone from crew. It could be someone from crew.
No, because it looks like he's protected. Like the way that's would Spider-Man be wearing a mask? No. Hey, stop, man! Don't cough in this direction. I'm protecting my friend.
Well, it looks like he's on maybe some sort of like if you look at the floor,
yeah,
and the way it's like bolted. It almost looks like maybe like he's on top of like maybe a roof or like a train or like maybe like a subway platform. You know how the subway platforms sometimes they have like that gravelly like sandpaper bit, you know? So it looks like that, and then maybe that's like the you know, the background that they're gonna superimpose later, whatever it is, maybe a train coming by. So it could be
another costume person, maybe.
Yeah,
yeah,
I just
maybe
blew it up, and it looks like a glove.
Yeah, but like a costume glove, right? Like
yeah. I mean, sure, like a whole arm glove. Like
maybe.
I don't know what to do with that. But.
Yes. There is. It's. I see it.
Yep.
The black behind it
That's
here.
right. It looks like a cape or something.
Well, it looks like a cape or like some sort of like, but you see the hand sticking out.
Yeah. That's a costume.
That's a costume.
Sure is.
That is a costume for sure.
Yeah. Oh well. I hope it doesn't become like
it's nobody.
That was gonna be Far From Home. Yeah, that turned out to be
it's Aunt May. That's who it is. It's Aunt May standing behind him. It's cold.
Right.
It's like someone. It's like a winter scene. It's like the sound guy. He's like, I just want to be cool for the day. I'm gonna wear these gloves that like my hands stick out of. You know.
Sure. Right.
All right.
Oh my God, that's how little news there is this week.
Exactly. There's a glove in the back.
Oh God.
Spider-Man.
Yeah. Oh well, we'll see. I'm sure there'll be more spy picks, and we'll. I mean, hey, whatever. We don't have any ethics here.
So
we'll report on spy picks.
Tenet is coming out right on home media. I guess you can't just say DVD,
December,
Blu-ray.
what?
They're doing,
December what? 5th?
December. I don't know. Was it 5th, 13th, something like that.
Some day in December.
Yeah.
Sometime within the first 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people are excited about it, and I'm like, that's cool. That's
December
cool.
15th.
15th. I knew there was a
December
5
15th.
somewhere in there. There was a number in there. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I'll check it out.
I definitely want to see it.
It's a lot of people are like, but you should have seen it on the big screen, blah blah blah.
Well, this is not the year for that, man.
I've got a 65-inch TV, so I will.
Excuse me,
brag.
Mr. Virola. No, I'm actually I really wanted to see this movie in theaters, but no one would go with me. And I was a little scared too, and like a little cautious. But so I'm really excited that I get to see this movie and Mulan in December. So that's something to look forward to.
Mulan is for free.
Yes.
Yep. Free with your Disney Plus subscription. It's going to be interesting to see how Tenet does. Relative to, this is similar to the release of a traditional, it was in the theaters and now it's coming to. It's a little quicker than normal, but it's going to be interesting to see how it does relative to what movies historically do, after a theatrical release, because this is a very different time, very different situation. There are a lot of people who have not seen this movie, so it's not like a movie that grossed 300 million in the US. It did 350 million worldwide, and it did like 50 million in the US. So there is a big market for this movie, and we've seen how successful some of the straight to VOD movies have been, but this isn't. This is now, I guess, another experiment, right? So it's another level to this thing that we've been talking about a lot, where we've seen the experiment of releasing movies directly to VOD. That's worked out well for the most part. Now we're seeing a huge movie that was released in theaters as best as it could be, and now it's coming to VOD, and we'll be interested to see what happens with it. Like, what are the sales like? What are the rentals like? Does it wind up, making more than it normally would have in this format? Does it do about the same? Because we're in this uncharted territory now, and these are all important things for studios to have to figure out.
It's another one of those films that everyone else is going to be watching. Like, how do they do? What are they doing? You know.
My first question is like cost. Like, how much are you gonna charge? Because obviously didn't get that much pickup.
No, I think it's
So
going
they're
to
gonna
be
do like a 15.
right?
You think it's gonna be like a regular purchase
I think at this point, this is like
or
now
a rental?
The movie went into theaters, and now it's
Mhm.
coming out on Blu-ray. It's coming out on digital platforms
Unless all at the same time?
all at the same time.
Or are they
Yeah,
doing the
December 15th.
stagger? No.
No, December 15th, 4K Blu-ray and digital,
Ah,
all digital
that's cool.
platforms.
So I wonder
So
if they go full on rental too, because you typically they
yeah,
wait like a couple of weeks.
I
for
think you're
that.
going to have it just like any other movie where it's going to cost, the Blu-ray 4K will be whatever it is, $30, $25, I don't know, whatever
The Blu-ray is going to be $35.99.
Okay.
The
Damn.
4K is going to be $44.95.
Damn.
And the
Those are-
DVD is going to be $28.98.
So those, I'm sure those are the retail. I'm sure it'll be cheaper than that once it actually gets to release day.
Yeah,
that's
you
high.
think so?
Yeah.
That is high, right?
I was like, yikes. Like,
Yeah.
you really don't want
what
people
site is
watching that
that?
movie.
Huh?
What site is that?
Collider.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So those are suggested retail prices. I'm sure it'll be cheaper than that. For Tenet, but either way, I mean, I'm sure some people will have. So I'm looking here at if Amazon has it for pre-order. Doesn't look like it yet, but
What do you think? Like $19.99?
well, usually a 4K Blu-ray these days goes for about $30. The regular Blu-ray could be anywhere from $20 to $25, and DVDs, I'm not even sure what they go for now. But
Oh my God,
but I would
they still
assume,
make DVDs?
yeah, of course. I'm sure that
for throwing
that the actual video release, like the video on demand, whatever, the digital will probably, I guess, for purchase, and then the rentals will be what a normal rental is, right? $6 or that's my guess.
Yeah, they're usually like, well, it depends. Sometimes
No,
like,
I don't think they're gonna rent this movie for $6.
Well, that's what you rent a movie now for that's out on Blu-ray. You rent it for $5.
It's a little more than that.
I think
sometimes.
Yeah, I think for this movie
they're like $9.99.
I guess that could
feel like it's gonna be a little more.
And they usually wait, like I said before, they usually wait. They'll do like it's all on VOD to see what they can get there, and then they do the rentals maybe like a couple weeks later.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't, the world is
well, it doesn't say rental.
No,
that's why it didn't say rental December 15th. It just says available for purchase.
Yeah.
Blu-ray and digital.
So it's gonna be like a $19.99 purchase probably for digital.
Right.
Which is fairly, it's pretty standard.
Yeah. Unless they wanted to go like the, Bill and Ted route.
Well, but that's the thing is they're not following that model.
That's the question. It's like, if no one's seen the film, do you try to squeeze a little bit out of it because now it's available in the way that people want to watch it these days, which is digitally.
I think that would have been smart.
They do like a $25. Like I wouldn't be surprised if it was a $25 film.
Yeah.
I
don't think anyone's gonna. Well, I guess people can order it online. I was gonna say, I'm not gonna go to a store now.
November 9th, the pre-orders go up. I'm sorry, November 10th.
9th.
I'm looking at
so
November
Tuesday.
10th. Yeah.
Right.
So we'll see. We'll know on Tuesday what the because
after this episode drops.
Yeah, like for instance, they list the suggested retail price for the DVD is $28.90. I mean, there's no way the DVD is going to go for $28. I'm sure it'll probably be $14 or $15 on Amazon once it goes up, but we'll know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I think usual in this case, I would think to purchase digitally is $20. That would be my guess.
Yeah,
Sometimes to get 4K, they may do $25. It depends on how
That's so dumb. Because everybody nowadays is like upgrading it for nothing anyway.
Yeah. Well, what Voodoo has been doing recently is they've been giving you like this thing is like get the HD and the 4K for one price, at whatever that price may be. And then if you have a 4K TV, you watch the 4K version. And if you have if you don't have a 4K TV, then it'll just stream you the it
That's
detects
still
your
so
TV and
dumb.
it streams the HD version for you. So
That's so weird to me because it will upgrade anyways, right? Doesn't it
yeah,
do it for you? Like, because it
no,
doesn't on
no.
Apple TV.
I mean, if you have
Apple TV.
if
So
you
Apple
purchase
TV
like
sent me a note and they were like, "Oh, just so you know, all of your Disney films, every Disney film you own has been upgraded to 4K."
really,
Oh, interesting.
And I was like, "Oh, word? Okay, cool.
yeah,
That's awesome.
no,
Oh,
Voodoo
sweet."
doesn't work, and Amazon don't work that way. Like if you purchased the HD
Mhm.
version, that's what you have, and if it comes out in
Mm.
4K, then
You
you have
still
to
don't
buy
have
it.
it.
And I've done that with, well, I had to do it with Superman the movie. I had to do it with Batman 89. Like I owned
Oh,
I mean, I didn't buy because I had the digital codes from
right.
DVD and Blu-ray releases. Like I had a digital copy in HD, but they didn't upgrade me. I had to go buy the 4K. Now maybe if I bought the HD version, maybe would they have, I don't know. But I know because the thing is like those releases were almost like separate things, right?
Right.
They came out way after the fact, right? In 4K,
Mhm.
Right.
they were remasters. They were like a special process. I don't know how it works if you bought a movie in HD that was already available in 4K because you didn't have a 4K TV,
Mhm.
that type of deal where they came out where it's not like a remaster type of deal. But yeah,
Right.
so it depends on the services. But I noticed, Vudu is bundling them together. They give you all the formats now, actually, even standard for people that are
Oh,
watching SD versions for the usual price. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how Tenet does. And we'll see once we finally get numbers on. It'll be interesting to get those Mulan numbers
yeah.
Oh,
on
and that,
Disney
yeah.
Plus, and Vudu because it did go up on Vudu as well after the fact, but for early access purchase. So
I'm kind of sad because we didn't hear much positive news about Mulan after, its release, besides the controversial, stuff that, people were calling for. But I didn't really see any news or anyone kind of reviewing the movie,
I
Um,
think the
Because
and
they had already done it, like, because they had stopped release after it was already doing previews. So most
right.
of reviewers had already seen it
I
in
meant
March.
not like the reviewers that like the press,
Oh, you mean like
like,
other people just
but
like,
I meant like just like regular viewers, I just thought
yeah.
that was just like a bummer. And I don't know
Mhm.
if it's because the algorithm on my Twitter feed is different or like something like that, but I kind of really wish that I had purchased it and saw it like on the opening week, but I'll
You'll
do
get
it
it for
in
free in
December.
2 weeks. I was like, you're gonna get it for free in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, I'm really looking
I mean,
forward
it
to that.
supposedly did really, really well. We won't know what the numbers are until the investors call, but it supposedly did really
Yeah,
well.
yeah. We talked about
Yeah, so I don't think
that.
it was for lack of viewership. I just think that it because of the times too. It just
Mhm.
I think a lot of
Mhm.
things just slip through the cracks. I mean, I don't know that with everything going on in social media right now, I'm not sure that I think for now the days of like the movie blowing up like the universe and social media and stuff, I don't think that's going to be a thing for a while.
Well, see, I'm part of this other community, right? Like I was just hosting Urban Action Showcase, the 8th annual film festival this
Yes,
weekend.
tell us all about
And it's
this.
like we highlight like all of these action films, martial artists, like they all come together. And I feel like I'm in that network, I'm plugged
Mhm.
into that. And like no one talked about it. No
Mm.
one talked about her martial arts skills, her using like the sword, and I'm gonna look into it now. But I just
Mhm.
felt like even within the community, we didn't hear anything about
Is it
that.
because it was a Disney film, do you think?
I'm not sure because we haven't had a film like this in this scope that takes place, in China since like
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
yeah, maybe one of those movies or like Hero or
I
or
wasn't
like
gonna
or like
count out. Yeah,
or like the
I wasn't
Jade
gonna count that.
Hero is
The
like one of my favorite films
the
or
whatchamacallit,
the
the Matt
Jade
Damon.
Pendant.
No,
Oh,
no, was
the
that
Great
Oh,
Matt
Wall of
Great
Damon?
China.
Wall, Great Wall.
Please, no.
Didn't
That
watch it. I was like, oh my god, Matt Damon's in it.
that
What?
belongs in the trash bin. No, but I was just like, now that I'm thinking about it, this whole weekend, I gotta ask my trainer. I have to ask my my instructor if he even like reached out, maybe, because I spoke to a girl who's a stunt woman and actor, and she's in Taiwan, and she called in from Asia.
Wow.
It was really awesome because we had to do it virtual this year because of COVID, you know, and
Right.
usually like the opening night, we're at HBO, but now they've moved, you know, now it's all Warner Media. So they moved to Hudson Yards, and they have this like huge, like nice, like swanky apartment building, like office building, you know?
Yeah.
And so we were going to do it there this year, and then they take over the AMC 42nd Street movie theater.
Yep.
And that's where all the screenings are, and like the red carpet or whatever. So anyway, everyone was pretty upset that we had to do it virtual, but the beautiful part of doing it virtually was I spoke to people who called in from Belgium, Switzerland, Brazil, Asia, California, Texas, Canada, like everywhere. So people that normally you might not even get a chance to speak to, because they might not fly to New York and like spend all that money just, you know, just on a film festival. They're just happy that their films got in, and if they win, you know, they get the trophy and the plaque mailed to them. So it was really nice to speak to people all over the world. And then Angelica Washington, who's on Stargirl, you know, she plays Dr. Midnight, Beth Chappell. She was on set filming season 2. And she called into my Zoom to like chat for like 5 minutes. And I didn't know if she was going to come in. And I had like someone with me in my chat who's like my assistant. And she's like chatting with me. She's like, Angelica Washington is here. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't know she was going to show up. And then she showed up, and she was so lovely. She was so sweet. She's filming season 2 right now. She couldn't tell us much, but I asked her a question about whether or not she was like looking forward to doing any of like her own stunts or like any like actiony scenes that are we going to, you know, see more of with her character or whatever. And she was like, oh yeah, I asked Jeff Johns. She's like, you know, I was just asking him, like, I want to do more of this and I want to do more of that. And like, you got to get me like kicking some butt, you know, whatever. And I was like, oh yeah, you just like, just Jeff Johns, you know, you just like pick up the phone and just talk to him.
Hey, Jeff, I was really thinking, you know, I really want to be kicking some ass in this next episode.
Yeah. So, you know, that's something she mentioned in the chat. And then we also did a panel with some of the DC, other DC actors, like Javicia Leslie showed up. Like that was incredible. We had 2 more actors from David Harewood and Joy Vaughn Wade. They showed up, and it was just really cool. So anyway, the whole weekend was awesome, but my whole point going into it was that I did not speak to anyone talking about martial arts or stunts or anything that spoke about Mulan or anything having to do with that movie, which I thought was really interesting.
Wow.
I did talk to one stunt actor, and he was talking about working with Master Wu Ping. And the differences between filming in China, like filming fight scenes, especially in China and in America. Yep. In America, he says, they practice, they rehearse, they do pre-vises, you know, they like everything's choreographed, you kind of like block it up or whatever. He said when he was working with Master Wu Ping in China, the guy just throws him a sword and he's like, all right, like, yeah, just like, let go, you know, it's
do it. Yeah.
And then he's just like messing around with the sword for 4 hours, just like no choreography, just like you need actual skill for that. You're not learning steps. Like you're actually fighting with the sword for 4 hours. And then he's he's recording it. And then he's like, all right, like cut, like we're done.
Wow.
And like, that was the big difference. So that was really interesting, but that was the only time I ever heard someone I was talking to or interviewed talking about working in China. I thought Mulan might have come up, but it didn't. And that's interesting to me.
Yeah. There was so I know I've talked a little bit about Corridor Crew and how they who interview stuntmen, stunt women, and they talk a little bit about like working with folks like Donnie Yen and actually like getting punched in the face because they have to sell it like legit. And some they talk about sometimes in the US, like obviously that stuff doesn't fly. But in like traditional martial arts films, like he's going like 80% on his punch to sell it. Meanwhile, like, you might be
Over
coming out.
here, yeah.
Yeah.
And over here, you're like,
It's
you're
all fake.
punching 6 feet, like 6 inches
Yeah, like
away
in
from the
front.
face and reacting. I mean,
Yeah.
think about like back in like the 90s, right? Like with Jackie Chan, like
Yep.
the stories that we kept hearing about him in the news is like, what bones did he break
Yeah, what
this
did he
time?
break? Yeah, you wait for the sizzle reel at the end, like during the credits, to find out which one. Oh, oh shit, that's the one he broke his hip. Like,
Well, yeah, I mean, when
got
Jack
a
Chan,
concussion.
when we first saw him here, right? I mean, he was already a legend by the time
Oh yeah,
we got a taste of him here in this country. They were selling him, the whole concept was, well, he does all his own stunts.
Mhm.
Like that was this unusual concept in this country at that point. Now it's not unusual, but
yeah.
then it was like, wait, what? Like he does his own stunts? Like, really?
Mhm.
I mean, I remember when Rumble in the Bronx was,
Great movie.
they brought it here and released it here, and that was like a huge deal. Like everyone was losing their minds over the fact that Jackie Chan was the guy who did his own stunts. So,
Yeah. So like if you think about that, and they actually fell through, glass tables, coffee tables and stuff like that. It's very different. And it was really exciting to get to talk to some of these legends. I spoke with Billy Blanks,
nice.
which was like incredible, and he's so inspiring. I have like all of his like workout DVDs. I
You
used to
got
do
all the
Tai
Taebo
Bo.
joints.
Taebo.
Yeah.
Yes, I used to do Tai Bo. So I got to speak to a bunch of awesome people, and if anyone listening is interested to like check out the panels and stuff, especially the DC panel, it's still up. It's on facebook.com/urban action showcase. So that's like the page, and you'll see a bunch, more other events from the week.
Cool. Yeah, you should drop a link in the description for the video.
Oh, I'll drop a link. Yeah. And I got to interview, just one more thing. I got to interview Ella Ray Smith, who plays Nyx in season 3 of Into the Badlands. I don't know do you guys watch that show?
I do not.
I've seen like 3 episodes, and then I kind of started watching it at a wacky time in my life, and I never followed through with it after the first. But it was really good. Those 3 episodes I saw were good.
Yeah, the fight scenes in it is really good. So she's in season 3. She was really sweet. She called in from England, so we had a pretty diverse set of people and panels and stuff like that. So yeah.
Very cool. That's
Yeah,
exciting.
I know.
And I know you've still not watched any of the corridor stuff that I've recommended, but hey,
I
whatever.
haven't.
They had one with Lauren Mae Kim. I don't know if you know who she is, but she
Lauren Mary Kim?
Yeah.
I was supposed to interview her.
Oh, get out of here. So she was on the corridor crew. She's talking about some of the stuff she's done, where she doubled for Elektra on Daredevil and a couple of other shows. But yeah, so maybe that'll get you to check it out.
I will. We just finished watching Fargo season 2, and we started season 3. We're watching The Mandalorian. What else? I feel like we're watching something else, but then like The Crown starts next week. I know we also started watching the first few episodes of Fauda, so Oshri is gonna be very happy to hear that.
Cool.
My boyfriend's father was like, "You guys have to watch Fauda. You guys have to watch Fauda." I was like, "Why is everyone talking about this show?"
Yeah, my father-in-law was saying the same thing. I saw like an episode and I was like, "Ooh, this is dark."
Oh, you know who's in it?
What is going on here?
You know who's in it? Frenchie from The Boys.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And I didn't know that, but I was like, ooh. So that might make you check it out.
I was like, is he French? Is he Israeli? Like, what is that? Really?
Yeah.
Maybe because they speak. That's a dub show.
It's not a dub show. No, it's not.
They don't speak English in that show. In Fauda?
They don't speak English. No,
No, that's what I'm saying.
it's not dubbed.
So
You
like,
just you read the subtitles.
Oh, no, yeah, right, okay.
Oh, well, I think Netflix might have a
you can,
thing where like you can listen to it dubbed, but I hate watching dub stuff.
Now I'm looking it up. I'm like, where's this guy from?
Yeah. So I will get to the Corridor Crew.
Yo, he's an Israeli actor. Yo, his French
accent on that show.
Yeah, it seriously is like. Psh,
you thought he was. You thought he was actually Frenchy.
I legit was like, oh wow, they got a legit Frenchman to be. Wow. All right. Yeah. Okay. There you go. That's cool. That's dope. You learn something new every day.
So yeah. Do we have? Are there any other shows coming out? Besides,
so I'm like, I cry my eyes out it's Friday that I do it.
Oh, This Is Us.
This Is Us is back.
Uh-oh.
Messes me up, man. Mess me up every time. Just does it. I don't know. I had kids and now I'm like a sucker for that shit. I'm rewatching The Mandalorian because I watch it like first thing in the morning on Fridays when it drops.
Like, 6:30 in the morning. You're texting us.
Yeah, then
and I'm an hour behind, so it's like 5:30.
Yeah, sorry. And then Jess has been watching it, but I like officially cut the cord this week or last week, and I'm just getting used to that. Like it was weird to do it and then have to follow the news without actually following I was following the news, but because I would watch NBC in the mornings, and then I go, oh shit, I have Peacock. Like, yeah, all right. So there goes my NBC fix, and they got all types of they have stuff like what's trending, and they just give me the quick boom, 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 like it's like a Twitter feed in like video segments. Awesome.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I'm actually, as I've disconnected or cut that cord, like I'm using Peacock probably more than I would have ever dreamed.
So what service did you have that you cut the cord from?
I'm still a Fios user, but I just stopped the TV stuff.
Yeah. You're cutting the cord now at an interesting time, because what you're going to find is unlike me, who did it like 3 years ago or whatever, or more now, maybe, you still had to have something, right, for like a live TV service or whatever. It was a little difficult to navigate. It was kind of, now though, I mean, looking at it now, I mean, you will not even miss like any of that stuff. I mean, there's ways to get your local channels. You can use Lowcast or
yep.
And it's not available in every market, but it's getting there. Just to stream your channels, you can get an antenna if that works for you. That's easy too. But like, you have all these services like Peacock and with CBS All Access, and even like those free services I was talking about, like Pluto TV and Stir and the Roku channel. Even CBS All Access and I think Peacock now, they even have versions of that like built into their services that gives you like that live kind of environment where like you can go to a guide and like flip through curated channels, which in some ways are even better than live channels. But like, I mean, if it wasn't for a couple of little things, I don't even know. Like, I mean, I still have Sling TV, but I really
That's what I have.
I hardly ever use it. And I'm at the point now where it's like, if it wasn't for a couple of things, like I would get rid of it in a heartbeat. One of those things happens to be AEW. There's, unfortunately, I thought that eventually they would figure out a way to incorporate that into HBO Max, and maybe they will eventually. But for now, you still have to have TNT to watch it. I guess but that's not the only reason why I'm holding on to it. I mean, there's a couple of things too, like the news cycle and stuff. It's been helpful to have, but I find myself doing with Sling TV now what I did with cable before I wound up cutting the cord, which is I turn it on, I flip through the channels, I find nothing to watch, and then I go back to like Pluto or YouTube or whatever, CBS, whatever I'd be watching at the time. And that's what made me cut the cord, is when I would go turn on TV and I'd have like 300 channels and I'd flip through all of them, find nothing to watch, and then I'd go to Netflix. I was like, what the hell am I paying all this money for? So I'm getting to that point now, even with Sling, even though I don't pay a lot of money for it. It's like I find myself using it less and less, and I hardly ever DVR anything. There's so much, if you want like on-demand stuff, there's so much available on Hulu, and even the other services, depending on how you have it, CBS All Access, that you don't even really need to DVR even that much. And with the rising costs of the live TV packages like Hulu Live or YouTube TV and Sling and well, AT&T TV now is gone, PlayStation View is gone, but like YouTube TV, which used to be great and it was a great value, it's like almost $60 now, I think, which is just absurd. So they've fallen victim to they've lost track of what it was. So unfortunately, people who cut the cord and didn't understand what they were cutting the cord for kind of helped drive those prices up, because there were people that cut the cord but then complained, well, you don't have this channel, you don't have this channel, you don't have, and it's like, no, you were supposed to cut the cord because you were done paying for channels you didn't watch. Right. So now, because these services were forced to include local channels, forced to include sports channels, the two things that drive up cable costs more than anything, their costs have gone up as they've had to add channels and packages and renegotiate deals. So as that happens, now you're getting at this second wave of, it's not going to be cord cutting, but it's like, it's going to be the end of like linear TV watching. Eventually you're going to have people say, well, the hell with those services. That's just cable without the extra fees, right? The equipment fees, the taxes and the surcharges and all that other garbage that you pay on your bill. So yeah, well, I'm still saving about $30 a month by not having to pay for equipment charges and regional broadcast fees and all that stuff that came with those bills. It's getting to be, between the cost of my internet and the cost of my live TV package plus the other services, it's getting to be expensive again. So I think you're going to start to see that next wave where eventually, and it's interesting, Sling TV in particular has started to incorporate a lot of the I guess not the curated channels, but the public domain channels, we'll say, for lack of a better term, that you see on Pluto TV and the Roku channel. Like, they're starting to pop up now on Sling, in the Sling guide, which I think is interesting, because I think that's telling to me that those services are making an impact. When the other services that you pay for start to incorporate that content into it, clearly there's a reason for that. And obviously, there are more channels now that are available for free via streaming, and people just don't want to pay for them anymore. So while you're not going to get you're not getting an ad-supported version on Sling because you're paying for it like you would if you watched on like Pluto or whatever. I find that I'm just like, I watch more YouTube, Pluto TV, Stir, and then the services that have something on it, right? Like The Mandalorian or CBS All Access for Star Trek Discovery, things like that. So I have my targeted shows that I watch via whatever medium they're on, and then my daily viewing, like I want to just throw the TV on and find something. I find that more and more that's YouTube and Pluto, not YouTube TV, actual YouTube, and then Pluto TV and Star and Roku channel and services like that, when I'm not watching my own content that I own. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see now on your journey as you enter this, what you miss, what you don't miss, what you realize you live without, what you realize you probably never needed, all of those.
Real talk, at this point, I don't. It was just the news, and now that I got it, I'm good.
Yeah.
It just has become normal already.
I love my Sling TV. When I first cut the cord, I'm like Chris. I think I did it actually 5 years ago in 2015, when I got my apartment, because now I had to like figure out, what cable service I wanted. And then I was like, you know what, I'm not going to get cable, because I wanted to be productive. I didn't want to watch TV. But then I came across Sling, and at that time they had like the really catchy commercials with, what's his name? That actor. I'm blanking on his name right now, but anyway, they had some like really catchy commercials, and the commercials actually got me, and I got the service. And I was really excited because it was really inexpensive, and you can just get the little curated channels, And it turns out that the package that I got had all of the channels that I would watch on cable anyway. You guys don't watch reality TV, but I had to have Food Network, because I've been watching that since I was like 9 years old. I love the Food Network. So I had to have Food Network, and I had to have Bravo, and that was it. And that was in the package. But now there's so much wrestling on, and we can watch like NXT, we can watch AEW. So all of the wrestling stuff with the reality TV stuff, that's where I go to for that type of like live reality TV entertainment. And then like Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus for, the other content.
Cool.
So,
yeah, I got Sling because at the time, my friend of mine who was like the first person that I knew that cut the cord, he had it, and he was like, "Yeah, it works. I got this channel, this channel, this channel." Because this was before like all of the other streaming. I mean, it was at the time like you had Netflix and Hulu, and Amazon. Right, that was it. You didn't have all the. You didn't have CBS All Access. You didn't have Peacock and HBO Max and Pluto TV or any of it. It was just, literally you had Hulu, Amazon, Netflix, and then there was Sling TV, and then a couple of other like live services. So if you wanted to watch anything other than what was on Netflix or Hulu, or Amazon, if you wanted to watch any live TV at all, you had to have something.
Yep.
And but I mean, it's interesting because even it's funny, like you talk about the news, like the news sites, right? Whatever channel you watch, a lot of them on their websites have a live stream for free.
Right.
And you could just open that up on your laptop, your phone. You could beam it to your TV if you want, whatever.
Right,
And like, just it's not like something you're going to watch all day, I assume.
Yep.
But like for a time like this, right? What we just, what's going on now, what was just going on, like, and you want to really keep up with things or whatever, like that's the way to do it. I mean, that's how I wound up watching it for the most part, because I was at work, right? Or I was like on the train or whatever when a lot of stuff was going on. So I would just like bring it up on my phone anyway.
Yeah. Well, that was the awesome thing about Peacock. They like curated a special channel.
Yeah.
It was like election 2020.
Yeah. Oh, they have
and
that.
I just like
clicked
that, and I was like, shit. All right.
Yeah.
And they had their own special broadcasters and everything going on. And then anything that was like breaking, that would tap into the broader NBC network. They have all those anchors were getting pushed in, and I was like, psh, I'm good. Like, I'm great.
A lot of the services had that. Pluto had a channel. Stir had an election channel.
I'm good
had
with
channels
this.
dedicated to each campaign.
Oh wow, that's cool.
One you wanted to watch. Yeah. So really there was cool. I mean, look, it's the new age now. That's why I say you picked a good time to do it, because you're gonna find that you'll probably wind up spending less money, because you don't have to experiment as much.
That's right. I'm going to be saving $100 off the bat anyway. So
sure.
Jeez, it's $100.
$100 off.
Oh,
thank God. Yeah, no, like no, not $100 I'm paying for. I'm saving $100.
Just getting rid of the TV pack.
Just getting rid of the TV.
Oh yeah, wow.
Like, and my internet is exactly the same. It's great because I don't have any problems with that. And they were like, okay, you just want to cut the TV stuff. But those guys are slick.
Because
everyone does things online. No, they didn't offer me shit. I was trying to. I was like, I see this deal, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's only for new customers. No, but they're slick because everything's done online, right? My account is accessible online. So I'll go over there. Hey, your contract is up. Would you like to renew? No, I would not like to renew. I'd like to shop for something else. Okay. They weren't giving me access to drop TV. So every time I would click the internet, it would automatically group the TV stuff. Oh, this is the same great service with a reduced cost. I'm like, no, I don't want that. I had to get on the phone and call them.
Yeah.
And they're like, drop the TV. I don't want to do any of the TV stuff. Just give me the internet. And they're like, all right, well, we're happy to do that. Can you just tell us why? I'm like, because I'm not watching this shit and I'm paying too much money for it. That's why.
Yeah.
So you're going to sell me on anything?
It's amazing that they have to ask that now. It's like everyone.
Yeah, I was like, well, why are you doing? Well, why do you think I'm doing it, dummy?
Right.
Oh, you're only keeping the internet and dropping TV. Why? Hey, because I'm not watching any of that shit.
Right.
You guys know that, so please.
Yeah.
They're just
big
doing
brother.
their jobs.
I could tell the dude was at
The wrong
home.
guy to ask that question.
Yeah, you don't ask me that question, yo. I could tell him he was at home. I heard his ring thing.
Little
going
does
off.
that guy know your desire for sourdough bread and and This Is Us.
That's right. Yeah.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know what how big of a softie he's talking to.
I am a softie.
We know.
Ah.
You're like a Sour Patch Kid. Like first you're sour, then you're
Yeah.
sweet.
Huh,
Sure.
interesting.
Just like that.
There you go.
Yeah, you're like sour about your cable package.
I'm like
and
a
then-
3-layered fireball mixed with a jawbreaker. Like I'm
There you
spicy up top, then I'm kind of sweet, and then I'm spicy in the middle.
Okay.
These are excellent analogies.
There
Keep
we
going.
go.
What else you got?
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like a jalapeno margarita.
All right.
Yeah. Which is the most disgusting thing ever. It's gross.
Uh-oh.
Jess drinks them all the time. All the time. Ugh, it's gross. She's like, here. And then she's like, ooh, that's hot. You want to try this? I'm like, no. You know what I'm saying? That's like one of those things
Yeah.
like, oh my God, this thing smells like shit. Here, smell. No,
Why do
pass.
people
You
do
just,
that?
yeah, no.
That's one of my
I'm
biggest
good.
pet peeves when people are like, "Oh, this sucks. Try it." Wait. What?
Yeah, you're like, nah, I believe you. I'm good.
Yeah.
Misery
good.
loves company. Misery loves company.
Yeah.
Seriously. It's like saying, hey, like, oh, getting kicked in the balls hurts really bad. You should try it sometime. Definitely not.
No.
Definitely not.
It is
I'm
a-
good. Thank you.
All right. So on that note, go to the fanboygarage.com. You can check out our episode archive. You can check out our merch store. We do not have sourdough bread for sale yet, but we may if
No, but
Aaron
we got
decides to
this.
finally make it. There you go. You can get some Sith merchandise. You can get the
Wait.
Keaton Returns t-shirt.
Oh, look
at
at all of us.
We are all pathetic. And
Wait, what happened to your
chill.
shirt? Wait, what happened to your shirt?
Who, mine?
Yeah. Did something happen to your
Nothing.
shirt?
Nothing. It just says,
Bananas.
oh, you mean here?
Oh, yeah, what happened there? Did you iron that? What happened?
No, I didn't. It just got a little distressed.
Nice.
That's all. Yeah.
That's all right.
It's
That's cool.
fine. I love it. It's so comfortable.
You
It's
got the softy ones, right?
the soft cotton jersey. It's not like the Gildan
Yeah.
I don't like
like
that. It's
tough
like stiff.
men
You're like
t-shirts.
putting on
you
a
know?
cardboard shirt.
I don't like that. And it doesn't make girls like, it doesn't fit our bodies, you know? So no,
Tell me
I love
about
this.
it.
I love it.
Tell me
So
about it,
anyway, you
bro.
could buy any of these t-shirts that we've shamelessly shilled here on the show, and others too, other design, not the Jedi Training Academy, but anything else you could get. And of course, you can join the conversation on the social medias, the Facebook, the Instagram, the Twitter at the Fanboy Garage. And I have a Twitter account. It's Real CL Mighty.
And you guys can find me Vanessa_TFG.
And you can find me at AA Ron Speaks. That is A_A_Ron Speaks. Thank you so much for tuning in to episode 120 of the Fanboy Garage. Again, it's always been fun. We hope you guys like seeing our faces. I hope like listening to our voices. We'll catch you guys next week. Have a good one.